Professor Anand Kumar of the Aam Aadmi Party. Anupam Gupta is a senior advocate who has represented Ashok Khemka. Sambit Patra is following the story very closely on behalf of the BJP and presumably to accept that he has been wrong on every occasion and that every argument of his has been proven to be completely incorrect and that he took too hard a position trying to defend Robert Vadra is Tehseen Poonawala. Tehseen, I don't want to go into details. I'm sure you will not make me waste my time tonight by asking me to go into details. But every single thing in this letter of the auditor proves that not only was special treatment given, but a kind of special treatment given which is embarrassing, isn't it, Sambit Patra? A kind of special treatment given which is thoroughly and totally embarrassing. I mean, rules are broken in such a manner that, it seems as if, for Robert Vadra, there are no rules. Rules are made to be broken for Robert Vadra. Every single rule, road rules, developer rules, financial capacity rules, commercial zone rules, rules that apply for private developer rules, all rules broken for one man, Sambit Patra. Maybe you can elaborate on this. One man called Robert Vadra. I think Tehseen Poonawala.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. It is appalling. I have the original file of Mr. Robert Vadra for the granting of license of intent, and you would see as to how the policies have been tweaked. Number one, you were speaking about the financial capabilities.
Everything.
Look, for getting any kind of license, you have to have financial capabilities, and you have to have experience in the department that you are seeking license for. There was no experience, remember. And secondly, as far as the financial capability is concerned, Skylight Hospitality was started with only 1 lakh rupees in account. Now let us see as to what are the linings in the official record. The official record says, regarding financial capacity, it is submitted that the department has not granted any license to MS Skylight Hospitality Private Limited in the past. However, the company has not submitted any documents in respect of financial capability.
No.
It is also mentioned here that as per list of directors of company, Mr. Robert Vadra is one of the directors of the company. Thus, regarding financial capacity of the company, decision may kindly be taken, please. Regarding technical experience, one Mr. Sudhir Varma and Association had looked the project who has technical expertise. It is clearly stated over here, just because he is one Mr. Robert Vadra, so though he has no financial capacity as of now, he should be granted the license.
No. The most remarkable thing.
Robert Vadra.
Okay, should we? 1 second. Professor Anand Kumar and Anupam ji, before I come to you, I want to hear today if, there are two choices for Mr. Poonawala. I think the more honorable choice for Mr. Poonawala is to accept that he was wrong. But if he wants to be rigid, he may choose to be. But I have one intriguing thing. You see, we are not equal in India. I've just realized looking at this PAG report. There are some people and then there is Robert Vadra. The rest of Indian citizens and then there is Robert Vadra. Right? There's a rule for rest of India and there's a rule for Robert Vadra. Because in terms of financial capacity, it is said financial capacity of the developer should be sound and should have past experience. In this case of the relaxation, it says, Mr. Poonawala, see this, it's very interesting. The department had not granted the license to the applicant company earlier. Paid up capital of the firm was only 5 lakh rupees. The proposal was accepted only considering the status of the director of the applicant company. Wow. What is that? What is the status of the director? Professor Anand Kumar, this is a new form. You are expert in sociology. I don't know under which sociological rule do you have one status of a director for a Vadra, Professor? Isn't it really humiliating for the rest of the people of this country?
Arnab ji, the country has been amazed with the total disregard for rules, as pointed out by Sri Ashok Khemka 2 years ago. When we raised the issue through media, we were called names, and it was pressure from the ruling party of that time, which is now in the dustbin of history, that made others look the other way. We want to salute the Auditor General of Haryana today for this act of courage. We are sure that there is need now to expedite this case with a special investigation to bring back credibility of government system. Otherwise, as you said, there are two kinds of people. One, VIPs who don't obey any rules and they have a lot of protection from the powers that be. And there are other kinds of people who are suffering because they are rule-following people. Today, Haryana government, led by Congress party, is rejected because their commitment for Mr. Robert Vadra and their total disregard for the rule of law while they were in power for last 10 years.
Oh yes. Crony capitalism at its worst. His hand goes up there finally. Tehseen Poonawala, yes please, you may. You may. Whatever you want to say.
If you're done with your address to the nation, may I answer all your questions?
We are making a few points and I think I hope you take this point seriously.
That this is not an... You're right, Mr. Goswami, that this is not an equal nation, because when two constitutional bodies, no less than the Election Commission of India, three courts, no less than the Supreme Court, go into the merits of the allegation on the
no. Supreme Court dismissed a plea. Supreme Court dismissed a plea seeking to quash a CAG order that stopped the audit. The verdict of the court was not on the merits of the audit.
Please let
the verdict of the court was not on the merits of the audit. You can't. No, you will not get away talking rubbish on the program.
Mr. Goswami,
it was not on the merits of the audit.
Let me make my points.
No one said the court. One second. The Supreme Court dismissed a plea seeking to quash a CAG order that stopped its audit. The verdict of the court was not on the merits of the audit as of June 2013. Everybody knows that. So don't make up facts. You are wrong on your first sentence. Now, what is your second sentence?
Mr. Goswami, I have all the answers. Please let me make my
drama
points.
Is not a substitute for drama is not a substitute for some serious debate. I know you've come with some prepared papers and all that. Don't do drama.
When I'm on your show, there's nothing more than drama.
Well, I'm asking you a question. You have no answers to the question. You should just plainly apologize.
You're not allowing me to make my points, Mr.
You're factually wrong. I countered you. Counter me factually.
The fact of the matter
I countered you. Now counter me factually. I countered you with a fact.
I will counter you factually on the Supreme Court point if you let me speak.
Counter me factually.
Yes, and now I will counter you factually if you let me speak and if you let me speak. Now, thank you, Mr. Goswami, for allowing me to speak. In the Supreme Court, where you rightly said about the merits of the case is counted. If the merits are strong, jurisdiction is not an issue for the Supreme Court. Point number one.
The Supreme Court went into the merits of the court. Now, come on, what kind of an argument is this?
Mr. Anupam Gupta. This very point of the CNAG before the Supreme Court. Mr. Goswami, you will allow me to speak. I have all the answers. You will allow me to speak.
The petitioner went with only newspaper reports. He did not submit any evidence. He went with newspaper reports. That's the reason as to why the
Mr. Goswami, if I am allowed to speak on your show, Mr. Goswami, please allow me to speak on your show. I know I'm on the noise. Let me make my points factually.
I'll tell you what, Sambit.
Can I make my points factually?
Now,
thank you, Mr. Goswami. The fact of the matter is...
Tehseen, 1 minute. I'll let you speak. In fact, only you speak for the rest of the program. I just want to say one thing to the viewers. You see, Tehseen Poonawala has a standard strategy. He has no factual responses. He will go complaining to the whole world after this program, I was not allowed to talk. This was noise hour and all that kind of rubbish, because he knows one thing, that he has not got a single, so he has to resort to drama of the kind he is doing today. See, that's another example of the drama he will do. Then he will go on social media and he will keep complaining. I was not allowed to speak. He will keep complaining. I am telling him I'm making a factual point. You see, this is not some, one second, this is not some, this is not some, listen to me, this is not some primary school contest going on here, Tehseen. If you don't have the facts, you tell us. I can't counter you on facts. I have to resort to drama.
The issue out here, Mr. Goswami, again, I am on the noise, on the news hour. Drama
see, Mr. Tehseen Poonawala, if you think this is some junior primary school argument and you are on some dumb charades contest, you can go and do this drama. It's a serious program. I counter you factually. There are serious people. If you don't have the content, you can say, I don't have the content. I will go and complain. I was not allowed to talk.
Mr. Goswami,
the dismissal of the plea. No, it will be good for you, Mr. Poonawala, to digest the fact.
To speak.
No, Mr. Poonawala, you see, it will be good for you and good for your sense of facts if you can go and tell people of this country that I had no facts. Now, Mr. Anupam, We have this man called Poonawala, he will keep doing drama.
I have the facts, please allow me to speak. Thank you, Mr. Goswami.
First of all, you have no idea of law.
The fact is this, Mr. Goswami,
you don't have any facts.
Me to speak.
Mr. Poonawala, you go on like a parrot. You don't let me speak. You don't let me speak.
I have as much idea of law as you have of journalism.
The fact is this.
Now, please allow me to speak,
Mr. Anupam Gupta will enlighten you on a serious note. Please,
Anupam Gupta. This, Mr. Goswami,
Anupam Gupta, one second. Anupam Gupta, please. First of all, just Anupam Gupta, with the dismissal, likewise with the dismissal of a similar plea by the Delhi High Court in September this year, where the contents of ML Sharma's plea were based more on media reports than solid documented facts. Sambit Patra is right. The courts focused on the merits of Sharma's petition, not the merits of the audit report or the accusations against Robert Vadra. The High Court, while dismissing Sharma's plea in September this year, said, and I quote, "We may at the outset point out that the writ petition has been filed purely on the basis of newspaper reports without producing any material to substantiate the authenticity of the contents of the said reports." So what we have today with us are not media reports. Today, Mr. Anupam Gupta, we have with us the actual letter, of which I have a copy, which is that of the Principal Accountant General Audit of Haryana to the Town and Country Planning Department of the state. This is real fact, Mr. Gupta, right? This is a letter. It's actually been put out.
This is a fact which will be covered.
Supreme Court is wrong. CNAG is wrong. Mr. Arnab Goswami is correct.
That's true.
No, please, just one second. It's a serious debate. What did I tell you?
Mr. Goswami?
It's a serious debate.
This is a fact. The auditor's report, the auditor's observation would be covered by Article 151 of the Constitution. Is part of the CAG. And the seminal observation made by him, which you earlier referred to in your opening remarks, that the license was given by the Town and Country Planning Department of the state government to Mr. Robert Vadra's firm, keeping in mind only the status of the director, namely Mr. Robert Vadra himself. In his reply in May last year to the state government's inquiry report, there was an expression used by Mr. Ashok Khemka. The expression used, now fully vindicated by the seminal observation of the Principal Accountant General Audit Haryana, was that the record shows, the entire exercise shows that Mr. Robert Vadra, the man, became the measure of everything.
Mr. Poonawala, I request you.
This seminal
I just want to tell Mr.
Poonawala. In Ashok Khemka's reply is fully vindicated today.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Mr. Poonawala, I just want to say
please let me answer. I would like to answer
and not a word by the Delhi High Court, not a word by the Supreme Court on the merits of the issue.
Not a word. Now, Mr. Poonawala, don't reduce yourself to
that is an obvious and a blatant red herring meant to derail the entire discussion.
Yeah, okay. You see, let us have this Mr. Poonawala respond once, because Goswami, otherwise he's determined to reduce himself to a caricature on the program. Yes, Mr. Poonawala, please do.
I'm on your program, sir. I request you to let me speak.
Okay, respond. We are all silent, please.
Right. First of all, on the matter of merits, specifically on the allegations made by Dr. Patra, the Supreme Court went into it. In its observations, the Supreme Court says, and the Honorable Supreme Court says, and I quote, that because somebody got Mr. Vadra asked for license for 1.5 acres of land, surely that does not mean that the Haryana government gave license to 20,000 acres of land only to give Mr. Vadra's 1.5 acres of land the license. So the Supreme Court went into that aspect. In the Delhi High Court as well, the aspect of the CNAG went into it. But let me expose a blatant hypocrisy. Mr. Goswami, I'll take 1 minute more of your time. Mr. Goswami,
applied for that much.
Mr. Goswami, can I please take 1 minute more of your time?
Regulations, the final development plan
Mr.
of Gurgaon,
Goswami, please can I take 1 minute more of your time?
Falling under commercial zone can be developed by private developers. So only 50% of the area can be put up for commercial development.
Mr. Goswami, please can I take 1 minute more?
Technical details. And the rules have been flaunted over here. The roads and the green zone were added into the commercial zone of Mr. Vadra because the density, the density which Mr. Vadra had applied for already was in excess. So what the Hooda government did was, it added the green zone and the roads along with Mr. Vadra's property to show that he was within the allowed limits. And let me read out what the official file says. Look here, how it had a cascading effect. The official file says, in case the present application, that is of Mr. Robert Vadra, is considered on account of explanations or ground given above, then the same shall be applicable in all the cases in consideration for grant of license. All these cases were granted license.
Dr. Patra, can I answer your questions now?
Robert Vadra was accommodated.
1 second.
Dr. Patra, please may I answer your questions?
Sambit, 1 second.
Thank you.
First of all,
Dr. Patra,
Sambit, 1 second. You see what has happened is, Poonawala has
I'm answering it.
Poonawala has come today
Mr.
with
Goswami?
No, I just one second. Mr. Poonawala, just calm down. See, 1 second. See, you are with serious people, men of experience, and some facts at their disposal. Okay. Now, somebody has given you an A4 size piece of paper which you're holding up. Somebody just keep looking at the camera and he'll hold up. Tehseen, pick that up again. Pick up that piece of paper you're holding. Pick it up.
Can I please
pick up that piece of paper? Let me show it.
Mr. Goswami, I'd
show
like
it
to make
once
my
again.
Points now.
Mr. Poonawala, show it.
Can I make my points now, Mr. Goswami?
Mr. Poonawala, show it. Show it to Sambit. Sambit, do you have a TV next to you?
Let me make my points. Thank you.
No, 1 second. Sambit, do you have a TV next to you? Anand, do you have, Professor Anand, do you have a TV next to you? Hold it up.
Mr. Goswami, allow me to make my points.
No, hold
Thank
it
you
up.
very much.
No, hold it up, please.
Mr. Goswami, please allow me to
hold up that piece of paper, Mr. Poonawala.
Mr. Goswami, please allow me to
hold up the piece of paper, Mr. Poonawala.
Mr.
Goswami, please
hold
allow
it up.
me to make my points.
Let all the other panelists see what drama you're doing on the program.
Yeah.
Now the question is this. You're not going to hold it up now. Okay, fine.
Well, so, again, I'm on your show. Drama is an integral part of it.
No, it's a very factual. No, Mr. Poonawala.
I'd like to ask.
Okay, so here's a question. He says, Mr. Poonawala says, I have all the answers. He won't let me speak. Okay, so Professor Anand, Sambit, to all viewers and Anupam Gupta, here is a question for Tehseen Poonawala. Okay, I want Tehseen Poonawala to answer. If he has no answer, then I suggest you hold that paper upside down and say, I don't have an answer.